Okay, so I just wanted to talk to you today about a couple of things that you want to be aware of when you're interviewing agents, and especially when agents know that they're competing for the listing and that they are competing with other agents and they know that you are interviewing other agents. A lot of agents in this market are desperate and they're desperate to get a listing. So sometimes, unfortunately, they will do anything to get the listing right off the bat. And that includes being dishonest to get the listing. So one of the things that I see a lot in the market is that agents will price properties too high. And the reason they do this is they have the hopes that this is going to win your trust when they come in and say that they can get a certain amount for it. And it just blows your mind and you're like, wow, well, that's great. Yes, if you can get me more for the property, then of course, yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna go for you. So you trust them and they violate that trust because they end up having to do some price reductions, and that's part of their strategy. Once they lock in the listing, they are going to talk you into doing some price reductions to where it should have been priced originally. Now, statistics are all over the place about when you price a property right from the start, it sells higher and sellers net more. So pricing the property is very important and the data doesn't lie. And that's why you need a good agent that's gonna come in and show you the sold comps, the expired listings, and the active properties that you're competing with to make sure that you're comparing and pricing apples to apples. And I would even recommend that your agent take you on some of these other competing properties to a tour so that you can see what buyers have to choose from. And that really helps sellers kind of level up in this market so they can see what buyers also have choices in the market. And that is a key to pricing the property right. But one of the things that you need to do as the seller is price your own home. Look at the comps, look on Realtor.com, look on Zillow. There's a ton of online resources that you can look at to get an idea of what you think the value should be based off of what the market is doing. And again, a lot of listing agents will go in, especially if they know they're competing with another agent, and they'll just go sky high. And their strategy is that in 30, 60, 90 days, they're gonna talk you down on the price once they get the listing and get the price more reasonable once they get it. And the price has got to reflect the data. And that's the most important thing because buyers ultimately make the decision on what the house sells for. So buyers make the value of the properties because they're the ones that are pre-qualified, they're the ones that have the cash, and they're the ones that are actually offering on the property. So what properties closed for is a telltale sign on what or getting close to what yours is going to close for with similar amenities, similar finishes, obviously similar square footage, areas, acreage, subdivision, whatever it is. All that's got to be comparatively broke down so that you can get a good snapshot of what your home should be priced at. And if an agent comes in and just, obviously knows they're competing with other agents and the valuation that they're coming in with, especially if they know they're competing, is $50,000, $100,000 over, and I've even seen it hundreds of thousands of dollars over, then you're definitely not going to want to go with that agent because all your property is going to do is it's going to sit on the market. The other thing that's very important is when you're interviewing agents is you really want to ask the question if they don't go over it in their listing presentation, which they should, which is a key component of a good agent, is they are going to have a marketing strategy. So specifically asking them if they don't break that down, what are you going to do to market and sell my property? And it's very important because a good agent is going to have a strategy above and beyond just the MLS. And I would say 90% of agents, they enter the data into the MLS and then that populates into all the other online sites, Zillow, Realtor.com, all of the other sites. and then they just sit back and they wait for a buyer. They wait for a buyer's agent to call them. They wait for a buyer to maybe call them from Realtor, off of Realtor.com or maybe off of their sign. And so that's what 90% of agents do to sell the property. They enter the data into the MLS and that's their plan. But what you really need to find out is what are they going to do above and beyond entering the information into the MLS to actively work to sell the property. And in this market, guess what? It's going to take work. So each property has a lifestyle that it promotes because each property is different. Some properties have acreage, some properties don't. Some properties are by a golf course or a lake. These types of properties are going to attract different kinds of buyers with different price ranges and different lifestyles that they have themselves, and they're looking for that lifestyle. Whether it be for a second home, well, that's a different buyer. Whether it be for a primary residence, whether it be a family or somebody single or empty nesters. All these different kinds of buyers are going to have a different lifestyle that they're looking for in a property that it promotes. So a good agent is going to tailor their marketing plan to the lifestyle that your property promotes. And they'll break that down. And there's actually some hard work involved in that to go find the right buyer based off of the amenities, the location, and what the lifestyle is that property holds or what it promotes. And as an agent, it's always good to ask my sellers about the things that they have loved about their property, because I'm also going to take that and weave that into my marketing plan. Because let's face it, you sellers know the property in and out, and you know better than anybody what lifestyle that property promotes. And the things that you love about it, guess what? That's what another buyer is going to love about it too. So the agent taking that and formulating that into their market plan to actively market to that buyer is very important. And that's why each marketing plan should be tailored and should be different based off of the property and the lifestyle that it promotes. There's two other things that I feel are crucial when interviewing agents and looking at, for different agents. And obviously you're going to gel with one of them. There's one that you're going to kind of feel comfortable with. But along with doing that, when you're talking about who you're going to choose, is you also want to make sure that an agent is going to use video in their marketing. And I don't mean the cold, stale videos that some of the photographers do when they come in here and they just take cold, stale videos of properties. And that's great and all, but there needs to be some human interaction to where the property is being sold by the agent. And so this involves the agent actually getting involved in the video and talking about that lifestyle again that the property promotes. And in this age we're in, where there's so much video out there and buyers are attracted to video so much higher than they are just photos, it's a key marketing piece. And if your agent isn't using video in their marketing, it's a telltale sign that you may want to go with somebody else. One of the other things too is you want to make sure that your agent gives you some type of a seller net sheet so that you can kind of have an idea of what you're going to walk away with after the sale. So that would include commissions, that would include what the title fees are going to be, that would include maybe if you have a payoff, getting that in there, just so that you can have some type of a goal that you all are aiming for as a team, so that you have an idea of the numbers and what the numbers are going to look like after the sale. Now, it's not going to be exact, obviously, but there needs to be some type of a seller net sheet involved in the listing presentation so that the sellers can see the bottom line numbers after the contract is written and after it closes. So that way there's no surprises when you get to the closing table. And then another thing a good agent's gonna do is they're also, a week or a couple days beforehand, they are going to go over the final numbers with you, because those are gonna change at the closing table based off of, I'm sure, what the listing presentation was. Just, time on market could be a factor, showings, all of that. So the numbers a couple of days before closing are very important to go over with you so that there's no surprises when you get ready to put pen to paper.